Hey everybody, thank you so much for listening to this Count Out Network podcast. Before we get to it, I want to talk about our new Patreon that we have started. It is on patreon.com/countoutpod. We're very excited about it and very excited for all the things to you. Now, we're a small network here, and so, we're trying our best to raise our profile and do better things and bring more fun and enjoyment to the wrestling community, wrestling fun. Remember that? So we're doing our best to get there, but we need your help along the way to help bring us up even more. So that's where the Patreon comes in. It's just a little bit of support that you can throw, some money our way to the podcast that we have. Ring Post Radio, Your Dose of Death, How to Talk to Your Friend About Wrestling, Independent Waters, shows of that nature, Okada shorts. That Patreon is something that we will do. And of course, as a thank you for that support from you, that money is going to go to great people, to good causes, to those people that are doing great stuff for our podcast network. But as a thank you, we got great stuff for you. So we got 3 tiers on this Patreon. Again, patreon.com/countoutpod. The first tier is the support tier. It's just $3 a month. That's not bad at all. That's so simple and easy, you won't even see it leave your bank account. And of course, in there, you'll just get a straight up thank you from us, a shout out on all of our podcasts, thanking you for your support. And you'll also be able to join that Content a Month Club. So what that club is every month we will release one piece of audio, one piece of video, whatever it may be, for the support tier, for the $3 tier that is typically behind the $5, maybe even the $10 tier of the Patreon. So you'll be able to get that just for $3. You'll get that content for $3 every single month, and at the end of the month, they'll go back behind the other tiers. But if you want it all the time, you can, of course, get it in the Kayfabe and Shoot tiers. The Kayfabe tier is $5, where you'll get that thank you, and that's where you'll find all of our wrestling-related content, like the new show from Ring Post Radio. Ryan hasn't seen anything, of course, that's me. It's the show where I embarrass myself by admitting to the world matches that I have never seen, and me and Scotty Edwards from Ring Post Radio watch it along with you. Again, that's Ryan hasn't seen anything. And in that tier as well, you get the old content from the old network membership, along with special Discord access as well. So go check out the Kayfabe tier. That's only $5. And in the $10 tier, this is the most expensive tier, the Shoot tier, you get that thank you. You get all that older content. You'll get all those Kayfabe tier goodies of wrestling-related shows. But this is where you also get our non-wrestling-related content. If you really want to hang out with us, this is where it is. And you can do that through our monthly Jackbox Party Pack games with the whole Count Out family. Maybe not the whole Count Out family, whoever's available, I guess. But with the Count Out family, you can join along with us and play along if possible. And of course, you also get our current running show. It's a D&D show, Cantrips and Clotheslines, where you can follow the adventures of Andre, the Pebble, John Meowxley, May Duskmere, and of course, our wonderful DM, Jared Luthi. Some great content, some great shows there, all on our Shoot tier, $10. Again, go to patreon.com/countoutpod and join the Count Out Network Patreon today. Any of the tiers, we'd be very thankful. It's all going to good podcasters, and they would all very much appreciate it as well. So if you can go and donate and go put money into the Patreon, you'll get some great content out of it, I'm sure you. So definitely go check that out. We'd very much appreciate it. Now let's get back to the show.
You're listening to a Count Out podcast.
is what's up, and welcome everyone to another glorious episode of Okada Shorts. And that's right, it's not the full episode, it's another Okada Shorts short episode of G1 Ring for night 11 of the G1 Climax 32 that came live from Ehime on August 5th, 2022. I'm your bad friend, Raffe Houston. I am going to be running this one solo, running down the block matches for you and keeping you up to date with our pick'ems leading through into tonight's event. So, action kicked off hot and heavy, I guess, with Juice Robinson versus Yujiro Takahashi. Unfortunately for me, this match was kind of exactly what I expected it to be. I believe I actually picked the Pimp to win. You know, you kind of expect him to pick up a couple of wins, and I figured Juice would need to pick up a couple of losses because he wasn't going to win the block. Look, this match probably would have been better if Juice was sort of still a face, I think, for me. Because he couldn't really lean on that great, sort of sympathy he has, you didn't really care when all the cheating shenanigans and things went on. It's like, oh, well, two dickheads, whoever fucking wins. And yeah, Huge was better at cheating and had more help on that day. It is interesting, though, seeing the dynamic between Bullet Club and Bullet Club House of Torture. I mean, how long's it going to be really before they just take the Bullet Club, name off the House of Torture and have them completely separate? Because, I mean, they're completely different things at this stage. But yeah, Yujiro wins with the big juice after 11 minutes and 36 seconds. Can't help but think that was too long of a match. Next up was Taichi defeating Chase Owens with the Black Mephisto after 30 minutes and 25 seconds. I guess this was Sex Pest the match. Fucking real old school, like Chase's on top. He's beating down Tai Chi, and he keeps going over to Miho Abe, and he's like, give me a kiss, like, give me a little kiss on the cheek. And she's like, no. And he's like, all right, then, well, I'm going to hurt him more. And keeps, like, inflicting punishment on Tai Chi. He goes to pin him, but then he pulls him back up because he's not done torturing her. But that proves to be a mistake. The heroic Tai Chi comes back and really feeds it to him and gets the win. It's funny saying the heroic Tai Chi because I remember it wasn't even that long ago that Tai Chi was reviled within this company, not just as a heel, but also like as a bad worker, somebody that you didn't want to see. Tai Chi, go home, all that. He's come so far. I think it was like in my very first episode, which is nearly 2 years ago now, back in September 2020, I think it was. I actually talk about Tai Chi briefly. I talk about how Okada enters his match with Suzuki and he breezes down the ramp and he comes face to face with Tai Chi. Tai Chi's standing between him and the ring. And Okada looks him up and down and then just walks around him like he's nothing. And I was like, that's the kind of thing that motivates characters within New Japan. And then you look at Tai Chi now and how far he's come. I'd be really interested to get to a point where Tai Chi's an actual, straight up rival to Okada. And that could be, amazing moment to look back on when he was disregarded. The next match was Tetsuya Naito versus Aaron Hanare, defeating him with the Destino on his birthday. Could have given my boy the win with that one, but I understand why. They've done the Naito. He's taken all his losses. Now the chips are down, and if he wants to win, he's got to really come back at the end of the tournament. I don't know. I feel like that could have been a little bit more interesting with Naito. I mean, he may not win, and that may be interesting, but I feel like they've done the Naito loses everything and then comes back at the end story a bunch of times. And I understand he is the perennial underdog, but, it starts to lose its sheen after a little bit. Another great match from Hanare. He's really showing out this tournament and really showing why he shouldn't be overlooked in this company. That spin kick he did, just to Naito's face, was fucking brutal. But yeah, it only took one Destino to put him away, but I think it was an amazing showing for himself. So yeah, I hope he had a great day, and happy birthday, Hanare, my man. Next up was the Battle of the Kaijus. Jonah Rock, my Australian countryman, versus Jeff Cobb, Ichiban Kaiju, Imperial Unit, and defeating him within 40 minutes and 50 seconds with the torpedo splash. Couple of things about Jonah. I had hoped that once they got past that hurdle of the Yano, loss at the start, there was a nice big gap, and I was like, hopefully they're going to reboot him and now start to really use him as a monster, and they really are. From the second he comes out, banger theme, hits the ring, does the stomp, the camera shakes with him, he's like looking at Cobb, and I was like, they can really solidify him as a monster in this match, and they did, and it was big boys doing big boy shit, picking each other up, throwing each other around. It was just like an absolute display, and I was very happy to see Jonah get the win here because I think he's got a huge upside in New Japan. And then the final match, Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Evil in 19 minutes with the Ground Cobra. I just want to say, who's that winning the G1? She's got beautiful hair, an amazing figure, a sparkly cape. That's not your girlfriend, bitch. That's my girlfriend. That's Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's how we do it. Let's keep picking up those points. Let's get the win. I laid it all out in our best case, worst case scenarios before the tournament even started. My best case scenario is Hiroshi Tanahashi winning the entire tournament. He's currently on 4 points. Now I look at it, it's probably... No, what am I talking about? He's currently on 6 points, leading the block. Let's fucking go. Let's see it in. Let's not do the Naito comes back at the very end. Let's see Tanahashi fucking take it home. It could even be a tiebreaker because he's got the win over Naito anyway. Let's fucking go. That would be sick. As for the match itself, started pretty sort of slow for me, but then like all the shenanigans start, and I was like, oh, this is the typical shenanigans. But they got every referee in the fucking place involved. Everything's going down. Then Tanahashi just has enough of their bullshit and just starts nut-shotting the fucking minions. Togo show, fuck 'em. Just wasting everybody. Fucking ends up rolling up Evil, getting it sorted, gets the win, and then every referee, all four of them in a line, and it was really fun. Both of them, like the two on his left and right, lift up his arms, and then like the guys on the outside go to like lift up the other referee's arms, and they're like looking at him like, what are you doing? Marty's apologizing to Tanahashi for helping Evil do the Magic Killer because like Tanahashi gets Dick Togo out of the way when they're going to Magic Killer him, and then Evil lifts him up onto the shoulders of Asami and flips him out. Asami's the referee, the smaller one, if you guys aren't familiar. I went on a bit of a tear about the Magic Killer, and everything I said remains the same. It fucking sucks. Though this was maybe done well. I don't think it should be a tag team finisher, but it works well for Evil when he uses like an unsuspecting referee like against their will. And it's only possible that he can do that because it's a shitty, easy move. So, yeah, anyway. Fuck that move. Tanahashi winning the block the way God intended it. So fucking pumped. The true ace of New Japan. Let's fucking go. The current standings are as follows in our tipping. You got your boy, me, on 28. We've got Curtis on 25. Catching up there, Curtis. Travis on 22. My wife, Amy, on 24. And our good friend Momo on 25. So still managing to keep the lead there, but they're starting to breathe down my neck a little bit. Only 3 wins ahead, so that isn't ideal. We will see how it plays out. The next block nights happen today. It's going to be Yoshihashi versus El Phantasmo, and I have picked El Phantasmo. Yano versus Lance, and I have picked Lance. Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr., and I've picked Goto. Why the fuck would I pick Goto? That's going to come back to haunt me. Goto always haunts me in these. I either give him too many wins or not enough wins. Great Khan versus Jay White. I've picked Jay White. And then Shingo versus Ospreay. I have picked Shingo. Okay, so that's going to be it from me. That's a wrap-up of the night. If you want to check me out online, you can check out my other podcast, Faces and Feels, at Faces Feels Cast, where I interview wrestlers from all around the world. You can check out Curtis's other shows at El Destructo 83. He has a bunch of great content online. He's got Throw and Dice Pod, where he talks about Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons and all sorts of cool board war game kind of stuff. He's got the Smark Foundation, where they do quick, half-hour, 40-minute episodes talking about classic wrestling and being really positive about that. You can support the Count Out Podcast Network, who help us get out this show fucking way too often right now during the G1 Climax, at Count Out Pod. We've also got a new Patreon launched for Count Out Pod, where you can jump in and you can support us and all of the other great people on the Count Out Pod. There's various tiers starting from just $3. All the money goes to the Count Out Pod Network to help support all of the amazing podcasts on that show. If you want a banger theme song like ours, all you need to do is hit up at Riff Your Pod. My man Owen will get you sorted. And until then, rate and subscribe, listen or die, keep it right, keep it tight, and keep it what? Short.
You're right! There's buried treasure here! How did you know?
There always be treasure in the independent waters, matey.
Why don't more people come here for their hunt for treasure, Captain?
It'd be a hard one to find, but if you want to make it easier to find, tune into Independent Waters on the Count Out Network.
Every Wednesday with your hosts, me, Zach Batista,
And me, Mikey Manfredi.
as we take you through the independent wrestling scene and find the treasure buried beneath the surface.
Whether you're new to indie wrestling or have been watching for years, this show is for you.
That's Independent Waters every Wednesday on the Count Out Network.
See you there, landlubbers.
This has been a Count Out Podcast.